What is going on, everyone? So I'm going to do a question and answer right here on YouTube. If you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, go follow me, Joe Therapy. And if you watch my IG stories, I do a lot of ask me anything question and answers, and I'll answer those questions throughout the day. So I'm actually going to take the questions from my last one and answer them here, or answer some of them here, and it gives me a little bit more time than I would on Instagram. I'll also put some timestamps down below, that way you can just go to the topic that you want to know about or that interests you. That way you don't have to watch the whole thing, or you could be a great subscriber and watch the whole thing. But let's get started. And I'm going to try to answer some of the questions that appeal to a lot of people and not just specific ones. I get a lot of questions with specific cases to them that would help probably only them, but I'm going to try to find ones that work, that help the most people. Is there any exercise for anterior pelvic tilt? Anterior pelvic tilt, for the people who don't know, it's that big low back arch. It's kind of like sticking your butt out, and it's most commonly seen in Instagram fitness models trying to get likes and views and probably sponsorship. And you know, one of the issues there, it's not necessarily the anterior pelvic tilt. I don't really have an issue with that. It's only when it gets a slightly too excessive, or we're maybe working out, adding load to it. So, you know, our low back naturally curves that way. But let's say we're barbell squatting and we have weight on our back, and then we're squatting with a big low back arch. That can cause some tension, extra pressure to your low back that you don't want. So things you can do are pelvic tilts, just getting your pelvic, your pelvis to move back and forth. A lot of people just don't know how to do that. Also, all these, go into my Instagram page. I have everything there, so many stretches and exercises. Also, go to joetherapy.com. Joe Pro, I have a huge library, 100 plus videos and demos to show you how to do all these things too. So make sure you check that out. Shameless plug. So anterior pelvic tilt, pelvic tilts, working on that. Then, you know, you can work on strengthening your abs and also strengthening the glutes, working on hip hinge mechanics. And, you know, that's a good place to start. But again, if you have a little bit of an arch in your low back, then I wouldn't sweat it, especially if it doesn't hurt. Let's go to the next question. Also, I get this question a lot: how to increase height. And I know people are serious because I get this question asked a lot. And you cannot increase your height via exercise or stretching. Just be happy with who you are. Don't worry about your height. All right. Best hip flexor stretches. Again, another common question is like, what's the best stretch for this body part? There's so many different stretches that are great, and some people like certain ones over the other ones. I don't think there's a best anything. One of my all-time favorites is just putting your knee on the ground and the other leg out in front, a half kneeling hip flexor stretch, and just shifting your hips forward. You know, you get a great stretch on the hip flexor. So you just pick one and find what your favorite is. Any tips to help recover from patellar tendonitis? As a massage therapist, you know, I don't really prescribe too many exercises. I'm not really in, I guess, the rehab space. I kind of got put into that just because of social media, and I was very similar to other accounts that were physical therapists and chiropractors and, physios. But I don't really deal too much with the rehab type of stuff. I like to complement the work that a physical therapist or a chiropractor does, or a strength and conditioning coach. But from the people I know that I hang out with and I talk to who are super smart and deal with a lot of issues with tendonitis, loading it is one of the best things you can do, you know, starting with eccentric loading and making sure that it doesn't hurt, and then slowly ramping the intensity up and the load up. And that's a great way to deal with tendonitis. So do that. Let's go with, can you still get flexible after you turn 30 or older? I am 32, and I am more flexible and fit than I was when I was 20. And yeah, I know people who are 40, 50, 60, and they're in way better shape than they were back in the day. So yeah, you can do it. I get a lot of nutrition questions too. Maybe I'll answer them, maybe not. Maybe not in this one. Maybe in, I just kind of do. Like, I know a little bit of knowledge about nutrition, but I think there are better people to talk about that. Let's keep going through this. Types of stretching to do before working out and after working out. I talk about this a lot. I like to personally do a little bit more of the dynamic warm-ups and stretches before working out. I don't mind doing some static stretching before working out. I think it got a bad reputation because there's a study out there that says it decreases power, and you don't want to do it before workout because it's going to hinder your workout and your power output. But to be honest, like, are you really like maxing out your workout? For the majority of people, we're not 1 rep maxing, and we're just getting in, we're going at a high intensity, but I don't think static stretching is going to be so bad for your workout that you can't do it. So I'll do a little bit of static, especially if I'm feeling a little bit tighter in a certain area. Then, I'll do my dynamic warm-up stuff, and then I'll get to my workout. And then after my workout, I'll do maybe a little bit of static stretching just to kind of cool down and kind of wind down from the workout, but that's pretty much it. Ankle mobility, check out my Instagram page. Best thing you can do is keep your foot planted, push your knee over kind of like your middle toe, keep the heel on the floor, just run through some reps there. If you feel a pinching in front of your ankle joint, then you need to do some band distraction work that could help create some space. Again, Instagram page, mine. Let's go with another how to increase height through exercise. You cannot. Do you have clients that train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? What sort of advice do you have for them? I'm just going to count this as kind of like, hey, I do a sport specific, I do a certain sport. What can I do for that sport? And sport specific, all that means is you have to figure out what movements you do in your sport and figure out your mobility for that. So if you're a swimmer and you have to have your arms over here, then you need to do mobility exercise and stretches that make you more efficient in those movements. Excuse me. I'm going to take golf, for example. I was in the golf fitness industry for a long time. You have to rotate your T-spine, and you need really good hip rotation. So your exercise program is going to cater towards that. So that's all that sport specific means. This is another one, like show some stretching for a split. Basically, what does a split look like? If you're doing a front split, one leg's out in front, one leg's out in back, you need really good, calf and hamstring flexibility, the back of the leg on the front leg, more the front side, and like hip flexors and quads on the other leg, and you practice that. And over time, you'll probably get into a split. If you do a side split, you better have really good inner thigh flexibility. Let's see. Should you roll out your muscles before or after your workout? You can do both. It's not necessary. Again, a lot of people like to do that just to gain a little bit of range of motion. So again, if your hamstrings are feeling a little tight, rolling the hamstrings before you work out might give you a little bit more range of motion to get into a better position, like a deadlift. So it can, you can benefit that way. And you can do it after, whatever floats your boat. Let's answer maybe like a couple more. I think I'm hitting around that 8-10 minute mark. How do you know if a muscle is tight because it's weak or because it's actually tight? That's a really good question. One of the things you can do is you can take the stability component out of the movement. So for example, let's say we're standing up and we're trying to get our arms overhead. Let's say we get stuck here. What you can do to take the stability and strength component out of it is you can lay on your back and then repeat that same movement. If you can go all the way and you couldn't while standing, then it's a stability strength issue. But let's say you're laying on the floor and your arm is in the same spot that you were when you were standing, so around here, then that's when it becomes a tissue issue. It could be the joint, it could be the muscles like the lats. And then that's when it's a flexibility issue. So that would be tight. And then if you can do it all the way on the floor, then that would be a stability or a strength issue. So that would be a weak issue, like you would be weak in that position. And then you just cater your workout routine to that to help fix it. So taking the stability component away can help you differentiate from those two. Let's go through one more because I think my phone is going to die and I think this camera is going to die too. What's your opinion about chiropractors? I get this question a lot. I think chiropractors get kind of a bad reputation because now, a long time ago, or maybe still now, it's used to just be like, hey, chiropractors just do adjustments. And then, physical therapists, they just work with people after surgery. And then massage therapists, they just rub people down. Personal trainers, whatever. And the thing is, there's good clinicians and there's bad clinicians. There's good chiropractors, there's bad ones. There's good trainers, there's bad trainers. But, you have to, a lot of the chiropractors now that I know, that I hang out with, they don't just adjust. Some of them don't even adjust. And they take like a multifaceted approach, to help get the client better. So I don't hate one profession. I think all professions are great. I think it's just that individual person and their mentality and their thought process on how to help someone. But yeah, I love chiropractors. Let's see. What's the best treatment for sciatic pain? So things with nerve issues, actually the next question right after is best stretch for sciatica. So I don't necessarily like to stretch when I have like sciatic issues or nerve issues. You want to do things called nerve flossing. That usually seems to be pretty effective for people. So getting that nerve to glide through the structures, the muscles, that way it decreases some of the pain and some of those symptoms that you get. But, stretching and just kind of hammering that out, that might irritate the nerve a little bit too much. So that might actually increase your symptoms. So nerve flossing, I have some stuff on my page for sciatica, carpal tunnel, and stuff in the arms. Okay. Kind of getting towards the end here, and I'm kind of skipping through the ones that aren't the greatest and that might not help people. So, okay. All right, let's pick one more because I'm getting to the end. Let's see. You know what? That is going to be it actually, because I can't really find another decent one that could, they're all very specific to that person. All right, so that's it. Sorry for the last like 30 seconds where I was just scrolling through, but hopefully that was cool for you guys, and I'll do more of these if you want me to. But make sure you comment below, ask me questions that maybe I can do or answer in a future video. And as always, like this, or as the YouTube people like to say, smash that thumbs up button, like it, comment, subscribe. Make sure you go over on my Instagram page, joetherapy.com, check out Joe Pro, and yeah, hopefully that helped. See you guys next time.